So I'm just going to dive into it. Okay, so basically I'll be talking about building trust in Web3 communities, organic community building, and fostering trust for Web3. I'm Josh. I am the operations lead at HazeMonkeyNFT. I also am chief of operations at Supersonic Finance Limited, and I am a climate activist, multi-award-winning climate activist. You can find me on Twitter at G Shay. I'm not sure why that's not showing in its entirety, but yeah. So let's dive in. WAGMI. Introduction to Web3. So for this talk, I'm going to make it very short, but we'll be talking about common misconceptions with Web3 and if they actually have merits. We also will be talking about community at the core of Web3. We also would dive into steps to build trust in your Web3 community. Some of the key points we'll be talking about is Web3 all about wealth creation, or is it a Ponzi scheme? And Ponzi schemes are basically multi-level marketing. A ton of people contribute money to artificially pump the price, and when the owners have enough money, they rock pull it and take out their funds and lose. Or all details of Web3 projects are often publicly available on the blockchain. And when building a Web project, the biggest thing to keep at the back of your head as a founder or a creator or a developer is that you cannot necessarily hide anything from the community. Web3 is very community-centric, so if you're building, it's not open or public, that is a red flag, basically. For my talk, I think Web3 is a budding industry. It is exploding with opportunities for creators, developers, entrepreneurs, enthusiasts, and so on and so forth. Web3, what we know as Web3 is often things like crypto or NFTs or tokens, but it's so much more than that. And it's obviously powered by the blockchain, which is this new secure network that the future of the web is going towards. But one of the biggest question marks on Web3 is it long-term? Is it a trend? Is it something everybody's trying to jump into? Or is it something that actually holds some sort of ground and it would last for the next 2-3 years? I'm not here necessarily wanting to answer that question. I think for now I would focus on if you're somebody who wants to get into Web3 as a startup founder, as a creator, as an entrepreneur, what you need to know. So, in Web3 apps, there are things called DApps, decentralized applications, which are applications that are built on the blockchain. The applications that you don't need to have identification to get into them. All you need to do basically is, have a wallet and you can access them. Now, as a founder, one thing you should know how to do is, or these 5 things better still, is proposition, transparency, documentation or education, Web3 community, engagement, simplicity, and ease of access. For value proposition, Web3 projects are relatively new. Most of you may or may not have crypto wallets. So as a Web3 founder, as a creator, one of the things that you want to ensure you're doing building trust or attempting to build trust is providing or proposing value. How does your project help? How does your token help? How does your NFT provide value to its holders or your investors? Just like a regular startup, really. The next thing is obviously transparency. With Web3, it's very similar to being a startup founder who has raised money, pre-seed, seed, Series A, and so on and so forth. What you expected from your investors is that you're transparent. You have to show them what you're doing with their money, essentially. So you have to be very transparent if you want to build trust. And yeah, documentation, education. We spoke about this, you've heard about this all the time with open source. Web3 is very new. And for that reason, you want to be as educated as possible. If you're building a product that is supposed to serve a purpose, how do you ensure that the users or the new users understand what you're building? So documenting, educating, basically treating people like everybody's new and not assuming that somebody knows what a wallet is. So if you're building a product and you want to trust with your community, letting them know how things work in detail is very, very good. And you've got community engagement. There are a lot of Twitter spaces that happen, Discord communities, clubhouses, and all that stuff, clubhouse rooms. So as a founder, as a creator, as an entrepreneur, as an enthusiast, one thing that you need to focus on is how you can be a part of the Web3 community before you attempt building a Web3 community. You want to engage in spaces. You want to be present. You want to be seen. You want to get to people who are genuinely going to be interested in whatever you're building. And so you don't just have, robots in your Discord server or something. Yeah, and simplicity. Because again, Web3 is filled with buzzwords. You hear NFTs, you hear crypto, you hear blockchain, you hear that DeFi, you hear this and that. As a Web3 creator or as a Web3 startup founder, whatever you are, your job should be focused on making sure whatever product or decentralized app you're building is very simple. And in conclusion, really, the Web3 space is a multi-billion-dollar industry, as you can already see from existing products and platforms. NFTs, tokens, Bitcoin, Binance Smart Chain, and so on and so forth. It's multi-billion-dollar. You can tap into it. It's relatively nascent. Proof that it would actually go on for the next at least 10 years. So the best positioning you can give yourself as a creator, as a founder, as an entrepreneur is ensure that you're following the basic steps to be more, accountable in building trust for your community. And yeah, so I hope with this fast-paced talk, I've been able to give you sort of a blueprint on where you can get started as a creator, a founder, an enthusiast, and even for you guys who are regular people. And as we say in Web3, wag me. Thank you very much.